Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to discover how to completely transform Google Forms from just a, basic digital worksheet into a fully automated teaching assistant. Now, if you're using these tools every day, the basics are already second nature to you, for sure. But what we're going to do right now is uncover the exact strategic settings that literally change the entire game. So here's a dilemma so many of us face. We eagerly adopt these digital tools, hoping they'll be a total lifeline, right? But if they aren't calibrated just right, they kind of backfire. Suddenly, we're stuck in this endless loop of manual grading, fielding the exact same questions from 30 different students. We want the tech to carry the load. Imagine spending hours setting up an assignment, only to realize you still have to manually grade every single short answer. Or worse, it's 9 p.m. and you're getting pinged with emails because students don't understand why they got a question wrong. The tool's absolutely supposed to work for you, not the other way around. And by tweaking just a few hidden parameters, we can flip that dynamic completely. Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to quickly cover the grading grind, set up the auto grader foundation, look at timing score releases, dial in those student view settings, and finally, reveal a hidden reteaching tool that creates an amazing automated feedback loop. All right, starting off with part one, the grading grind. We all know the absolute pain of lost weekends calculating scores for simple, objective questions. Which brings us to part two, the auto grader foundation. Setting this up is the absolute prerequisite for massive time savings. Now, while navigating to settings and toggling make this a quiz is probably second nature to you power users out there, it's the meticulous setup of the answer key and point values that actually triggers the real automation. By front-loading this work for every multiple choice, checkbox, or drop-down question, you're essentially building a permanent grading algorithm. You put the elbow grease in once, and you literally never have to evaluate those specific questions again. Just think about the cumulative hours spent over a semester just checking A, B, C, or D against a master key. When you build this foundation, you are buying back those hours. It requires a bit of a mindset shift, really, from simply creating a digital worksheet to actively programming an assessment. You're teaching the system how to grade exactly like you would, which completely frees you up for the higher-level analytical grading that, honestly, only a human can do. Moving right along to part three, timing the score release. This is absolutely critical, and it all depends on whether your assessment is formative or summative. There is a super stark contrast between our two release options here. Instant release triggers immediately, right? It requires zero intervention from you and gives students that instant gratification. This is absolutely perfect for a quick exit ticket or maybe a pre-lab safety check where they really need to know right away if they grasp the concept. I mean, if a student needs to know how to safely mix chemicals before starting an experiment, that instant feedback is non-negotiable. But for summative assessments, like those big chapter tests with essays, later release is your best friend. The system still auto-grades the multiple choice, but it holds that data back, giving you time to actually evaluate the short answers before you blast out the final grades to everyone all at once. Automatically releasing a partial score can cause major, totally unnecessary panic if the essay portion hasn't been scored yet. So holding the scores gives you complete control over the narrative of their performance. Okay, part four, controlling student view settings. This dictates exactly what your students actually see the very moment they hit submit. Think of this checklist as your first line of defense. Keep missed questions toggled on. Why? Because it redirects students to immediately review their own knowledge gaps rather than running straight to your desks to ask, hey, what did I miss? Keeping point values on ensures total transparency, which really reduces their anxiety about how much a mistake will actually cost them. But correct answers, that is where you must be highly strategic. If you teach 4 periods of biology, toggling this off is absolutely crucial. It stops that classic scenario where period 1 finishes the quiz, views all the correct answers, and instantly shares screenshots with period 2 out in the hallway. Come on, we've all seen that happen. A well-intentioned review setting suddenly turns into a massive headache for academic integrity. So reserve keeping correct answers on strictly for those true low-stakes practice runs where a student actually needs to self-correct in real time while studying on their own. And now, part 5, the hidden reteaching tool. This is arguably the absolute most powerful feature for providing differentiated help. Hidden right inside the answer key is this incredible feature called answer feedback. It basically allows you to embed custom text, links, or external resources directly into the quiz logic.
Guys, this acts as your own automated teaching assistant. It literally waits in the background and jumps in with personalized reteaching the exact second a student makes a mistake, without requiring your attention in that moment. Instead of just a glaring red X that leaves a student confused and frustrated, they get immediate, targeted intervention. It beautifully bridges the gap between assessment and learning, transforming the moment of failure, getting an answer wrong, into an immediate, actionable learning opportunity, right when the student is most receptive to it. Just imagine a student selects the wrong answer. Instantly, they're met with custom text like, "Oops, review the section on protein synthesis in Chapter 4. But the real magic here is that it doesn't just stop at text. You can embed a hyperlink to a highly specific timestamp in a YouTube video, or a targeted Khan Academy module, maybe a specific paragraph in a digital textbook, or even a podcast explainer on a complex historical event. The student's error automatically triggers their own personalized intervention plan. You anticipate where they might stumble, and you leave a lifeline right there in the assessment logic. It is exactly like having a one-on-one conference with every single student the very second they need it, all running perfectly on autopilot. So what this creates is a fully automated feedback loop that equals zero extra teacher time. That equation completely changes the entire dynamic of a classroom. Your standard quiz is no longer just an assessment. It's a dynamic, interactive reteaching resource. The grading happens instantly, the initial intervention is delivered immediately, and best of all, you didn't have to clone yourself to tutor 30 different students at the exact same time. Just think about the energy this preserves. Instead of running around the room, putting out fires, and repeating the exact same explanation a dozen times, the system absorbs all that friction. You are freed up to facilitate much deeper discussions, help students with complex projects, or honestly, just take a breath while the technology handles the rote mechanics of reteaching. When we leverage these settings, we force the technology to do the heavy lifting for us. So with the grunt work of grading completely automated, what are you going to do with that saved time? Will you simply reclaim your weekends? Or perhaps, as we increasingly outsource the mechanics of grading and basic reteaching to these algorithms, we'll finally have the freedom to transition back to what drew us to education in the very first place. We can spend a lot less time being human calculators and way more time being mentors, creators, and facilitators of actual human connection in the classroom. When technology handles the grading, what kind of teacher will you have the freedom to become? It's definitely something to think about as you build your next assessment.